previous movie, we discussed light emitted from luminous objects and the 7 colors of light, which together make up white light. In this movie, we speak about objects which don't give off light. Why does a red ball look red to us? Why does this pencil look bent by the water? Why can we see our reflection in a mirror? And how do we see anything at all? Before we begin, please remember to subscribe to my channel and to hit the bell. Also, check out my website, www.learnscience.coza. Besides many free movies and quizzes you'll find there, you'll also be able to order a copy of the poster that we use in this movie. Download an interactive PDF of a gap-fill version of this poster from the link below. Fill it in while you watch the movie or after you've finished watching it to help you to learn more effectively from this movie. You can order the full bare bones workbook in interactive PDF or printed formats on the Learn Science website. Go to the Orders Bare Bones page. Here's a red ball. It isn't luminous. It can't give off its own light. We can only see it if the light from a luminous object shines on it. Let's say sunlight maybe shines on it. This ball doesn't let light through it, so we say it's opaque. That's why it casts a shadow. So what does an opaque object do with the light that shines on it? 2 things. Either it absorbs it or it reflects it. Some of the light energy that shines on an opaque object stays in the opaque object, changing into heat energy in the object. That was absorbed. And some of the light energy that shines on an opaque object is reflected off the opaque object. If we position our eye in the line of that reflected light, then we can see the object. Remember that sunlight is white light, but white light actually consists of 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Why does this ball look red when white light shines on it? It looks red because it reflects red, orange, and yellow light, which together look red to us. It absorbs all the other colors of light. Opaque objects reflect the colors of light which we see and absorb the others. A black object absorbs all the colors of light which shine on it and reflects none of them. No light comes to our eye off the black object, and that's why it looks black to us. A white object absorbs none of the colors of light which shine on it and reflects all of them. If we shine white light on a white object, all 7 colors in the white light get reflected off the white object. If we place our eye in the path of this reflected light, we receive all 7 colors of light, which together look white. Opaque objects can be rough or smooth. Rough objects scatter light as they reflect it. That means that they reflect light in many directions. Smooth, opaque objects don't scatter light as they reflect it. Instead, they reflect all the light which comes from one direction together. That's what makes smooth, opaque objects act as mirrors. This is how reflection happens off a smooth surface, let's say off a mirror. We call the light which shines on the mirror incident light. The light which travels from the mirror is called the reflected light. At the point where the incident light strikes the mirror, we draw an imaginary line at right angles to the mirror. That imaginary line is called the normal line. The angle between the incident line and the normal line is called the angle of incidence. And the angle between the normal line and the reflected light is called the angle of reflection. The angle of incidence always equals the angle of reflection, and that's called the law of reflection. Remember that non-luminous objects can't give off their own light, and that opaque objects are non-luminous objects which don't let light through them. Not all non-luminous objects are opaque. They don't all block light. Some non-luminous objects do let light through them, and we call those objects transparent. Here's a transparent block of perspex. We can call it a rectangular prism. What does a rectangular prism do to light as it lets the light through it? It bends the light. The scientific term for bending while traveling through is refract. The rectangular prism refracts light. Previously, I said that we see the colors of light which reach our eyes. But how does sight work? Light enters the pupil of our eye. The pupil is the black part in the center of the eye. It's actually a hole which lets light through. This is a picture of an eye as if we've cut it open. This is the front part of the eye, which everyone can see. And this is the part that is protected inside our skull. There's a very special layer of cells all around the inside of the eye. That layer is called the retina. When light strikes the cells in the retina, the light stimulates those special cells in the retina. A stimulated retina cell sends off a message to the brain. The scientific term for this kind of message is an impulse, and the long, thin cells which carry this impulse from the eye to the brain are called nerve cells. So a stimulated retina cell sends off impulses which travel along nerves from the eye to the brain. And when those nerve impulses reach the brain interprets them as sight. To recap, non-luminous objects cannot emit light. For us to see them, light from a luminous object needs to shine on them and be reflected off and reach our eyes. Non-luminous objects may be opaque, meaning that they don't let light through them, or transparent, meaning that they do let light through them. Opaque objects cast a shadow. An opaque object reflects the colors of light that we see and absorbs the colors of light that we don't see. A black object absorbs all colors of light, and a white object reflects all colors of light. Opaque objects may be rough or smooth. Rough objects scatter the light that they reflect, but smooth objects reflect the light without scattering, so that we can see a reflection on the smooth object's surface, like a mirror. During reflection, the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. Transparent objects may refract light, which means that they may bend light as it passes through them. Finally, how do we see? Light stimulates cells in the retina of the eye to send impulses along nerve cells which stretch from the eye to the brain. When the nerve impulses reach the brain interprets it as sight.